Heroism and heartache at Cedar Hill right now. The fire department still on the scene of an overnight fire that killed 3 people.
Cedar Hill police officers were the first to arrive at around 4:30 this morning. Neighbors tell us that flames were already consuming the home. In spite of the obvious danger, they rushed inside to try and get to those still there and in danger. We're told police officers.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Unheard Truths, and today we have more of a serious topic. We're going to be talking about a recent tragedy that happened in Cedar Hill, and take it away.
So recently there was a fire that claimed the lives of 3, Pastor Eugene Cahey and his wife Deanna and his 15-year-old daughter Cameron. They were killed in a house fire, their house. There were 2 unnamed survivors. One was in critical condition and taken to the hospital, and the other one seemed to have gotten lesser injuries or may not even be injured at all. The reason we don't have their names is because there is a current investigation going on because of the fire due to financial stresses with the family and over some suspicious behavior with how the pastor was made a post on Facebook talking about how he is so thankful for everyone's prayers and how he's just going through a rough time, so on and so forth. The family was under some financial stress. Their house was soon to be claimed, and basically they had a lot of financial stress. So there's an investigation currently going on, but what we're going to try and focus on today is the heroic actions of Cedar Hill police and fire departments.
So, the police, there was 3, 4? There's 3. So there's 3 police officers that were the first responders to the scene. It happened around 4:30 in the morning on a Thursday, and the officers had to use their squad car as a ladder because there's so much smoke that was like at the front door they couldn't even get in. And they carried out 3 people. Yeah, 3 people. 2 people. They carried out 2 people, and actually a lot of them, I think all the police officers had to get sent to the hospital for smoke inhalation.
Yeah, one of the officers themselves said, "We attempted to make entry through the front door, but the smoke was too bad." And it's just crazy that you can't even get the house out of your own front door, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's insane how fires really are. Like, people think fire isn't even the main killer when it comes to, like, what kills people in a fire. What kills people in a fire is the smoke
it's just straight carbon monoxide.
Yeah, that's what kills people, and that's what's scary. Like, people are like, oh, I don't want to die by burning, but smoke ventilation is just as worse. You're suffocating while still trying to breathe.
Honestly speaking, how did house fires even start? I try to light fires in the house all the time, but like,
are you talking like a fire in the fireplace, or are you talking in general?
I mean, like,
well, I mean,
are the carpets flammable or something?
Yes. Some a lot of carpets aren't actually made from nice materials. They're made from like plastics and stuff like that, which is really flammable.
And also, I think wallpaper is still flammable. But people who still use wallpaper, I don't know if many houses have wallpaper, but a lot of them happen from curling irons being left on, or like the oven. Unlikely the oven, but oven it's possible, and stovetops.
Especially gas stoves.
Oh yeah, gas stoves.
Gas stoves are nuts.
Because some people will leave them on just to heat the house,
mm-hmm.
and then things go crazy.
What do you mean how?
Like sometimes like paper will get there, or gas leaks. There's a lot of things.
What the heck is a gas leak? First of all,
a gas leak. So you know how like propane tanks. Like I don't know how exactly a gas oven or gas stove works, but you know how a propane tank, how it's just compressed
gas or whatever.
Yeah. Whenever that's leaking, if someone were to light a match, it's extremely flammable.
Oh, like the air around it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if there's a hole in it and it's releasing air, that air is still flammable because that's the gas that goes into the
oven. Also, then again, a fire needs oxygen to breathe, and in a house, there's plenty of oxygen to go around. But
there's oxygen everywhere.
There's oxygen everywhere, but it's like just saying, it's still in your house. Anyway, but the police officers, they're not equipped to fight a fire or even rescue people inside. They're just there to assist the firefighters in their job, whatever they need help with. But since the fire department was still on their way and the fire was getting out of control, the police officers did what they could to rescue the victims that were inside the house.
Yeah, we talked to one of the officers that was actually a first responder, and he was telling us about the training and how that they're not really trained to do anything with fires, as in saving people. They're trained to like block off roads and assist the firefighters, but not to actually go fight the fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were actually lucky enough to get an interview with one of the first responders, Sergeant J.R. Podani with the Cedar Hill Police Department, and we'll cut to that now.
No, it was actually a pretty slow night, and the I wasn't doing anything in particular. Actually, myself and another officer were met up in a parking lot. We were talking about some things when the call came out.
What is it like to drive there knowing that you may have to be the first person to help people? Like, what goes through your mind?
On that particular call, the only information that we had responding to it is it's a house fire, and that the caller was stuck upstairs. We didn't have any other information other than that. So to get there and trying to get your mindset right, there really wasn't anything because we're not firefighters, so we can't relate to anything when it comes to, running into a burning building or anything like that. So like police related calls, I can what if a situation all the way there and kind of get in a mindset on what I might do and what I might do based off of my training and experience. But in route to this specific call, that limited information that I had, I mean, there really wasn't much I could prepare myself for, even other officers. But all we knew is that we had somebody upstairs. So there really wasn't a planning process that I could do at that moment driving to the call.
So when you first got there and you first got to the scene, what did you do first? Like, what process? Is there like an institutionalized process, or was it mostly just instinct to try and fix the problem?
Oh no, it definitely wasn't a planned process. I mean, there was 5 of us that showed on scene probably at the same time, and I looked at the what I had. I saw where the people were because they were at the front part of the house. We could see all the smoke coming from the roof, the windows, the back of the house. You could see flames. So the only instinct that we were working off of is that we need to get those people out of the house. And so my first instinct that wasn't taught, wasn't trained, it was just something that came to mind is when I told one of my officers to pull their squad car up into the front yard and up to the house so we could use it as a ladder.
Is there any training that goes on for if an officer should show up to a fire first?
Well, I can tell you, no, there's not any specific training that we have had as officers on running into a burning building or dealing with any kind of fire. We're normally scene security for the fire department. We make sure that roads are blocked. We make sure that bystanders don't walk into the fire scene. I mean, it's more of that type of role. So specific training into having people trapped in a burning building or a house, we don't get specific training for that. I can tell you I've been an officer for 21 years, and that was the first call that I've ever had where somebody was trapped in a house or in a building that was on fire. So it's not something that happens all the time. But on scene that particular day, we had a rookie officer that was out of training for a month. So that officer has already experienced something that I didn't experience until 21 years later, that kind of deal. So it's not specific training that we get.
So when more responders arrived, like more officers and firemen, how did your role as one of the first people there change?
Once the fire department arrived, with me being the supervisor that coordinates the police officers on scene, once the fire department showed up, they took the primary role on the rescue of any other people inside the house. Of course, their responsibility is putting the fire out. My role at that point twisted to more coordinating my officers. Well, one, making sure they were all okay, making sure they were taken care of and accounted for, and then moving them to positions around the house, down the street, to make sure that we didn't have any any vehicle traffic, pedestrian traffic, anything like that that would get in the way of the firefighters and doing their job.
And there you have it. We were very fortunate to land this interview. We actually know Mr. Jared Pordani personally.
And if you guys would please do your best, or not do your best, just please help out the fire department and the police department in any way you can, whether that's donating, just telling them how great of a job they've been doing, and just thanking them for their service on keeping us safe and protecting us. Please do that. And if you have any questions about how to prevent a house fire or even how to donate any of this, any money, you can call the number.
The National Fire Protection Agency, their phone number is 808-848-8811. Or you can email them at info@nationalfireinc.com. And basically you can call them or email them about any questions, how to prevent fires in your home, in your community, so on and so forth. So they're a really useful way of preventing things like this from happening.
And they do have a website which has a lot of information on it itself
As well. So if you just want to Google National Fire Protection, there should be the first website to pop up is that.
And there you have it.
Well, thank you guys for tuning into this week's episode, and we look forward to seeing you guys in the future.
Stay safe.